my name is Kortbawi, and today I'm going to highlight 7 design philosophies of mine that I utilized when designing and developing the e-learning course, Coexisting with Coyotes in Urban Landscapes. I consider these philosophies as ways to set the learner up for success. Philosophy number 1, start with the end in mind. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. Backwards design is essential for any training initiative to facilitate program success. For this course in particular, I started by identifying the change that I wanted to see upon learner completion of this course, which is an increase in empathy for coyotes, support for coexistence with them in urban environments, and a decrease in human-coyote conflict in urban environments. Once I identified the change I wanted to see, I then determined what the learner would need to know or be able to do in order for that change to occur, and that's how the course learning outcomes were developed. It's essential to communicate these intended outcomes to your learners so they can set their own goals for what they want to achieve from the training, and by doing so, they identify the value they see in completing the course, which is a critical component of learner motivation. To help the learner set goals and be able to identify if they're meeting the intended outcomes, course learning outcomes are provided, and each module breaks down the course outcomes further into smaller, more achievable goals, which helps facilitate the learner's self-efficacy. Feeling like you're capable of achieving the intended outcome is another component of learner motivation. Each learning activity, discussion, and assignment was then designed to align with these outcomes. Doing this lays the groundwork for the learner to be motivated to engage with the course materials by helping them identify what's in it for me. Philosophy number 2, create a supportive environment. A critical component of a learner's ability to take action to achieve their goals is the learning environment. A supportive learning environment enhances learner motivation to engage in goal-directed behavior, thus facilitating their success. This is even more important in an asynchronous online massive open course like this one. During face-to-face and synchronous online instruction, this tends to occur more organically because there is that direct interaction between instructor and student and peer. Many things were implemented to intentionally increase the perception of a supportive learning environment, such as this in-depth course overview video that provides a walkthrough of the entire course setup in the learning management system by the instructor, in which they demonstrate how to utilize essential components of the learning management system for course participation, and where they outline available resources and course expectations. Likewise, prior to entering the course, there is a course introduction video from the instructor where they introduce themselves and share what they hope learners will gain from the course. In addition, there is a Meet Your Instructor section where the learner can learn even more about the instructor and communication expectations. These resources are provided so the learner can start to build a connection with the instructor and see them as someone who is approachable and available to support their learning journey. Furthermore, there are a wealth of course resources, such as more in-depth guides for utilizing Talent LMS, a suggested course pacing outline, an overview of the requirements for this to obtain the certificate of completion for the course, and demonstration for how to resubmit and when you can resubmit learning activities and assignments. Finally, with the utilization of multiple discussions throughout the course, the learner can obtain support from their instructor or peers, and the instructor will provide feedback on all submitted learning activities and assignments. Philosophy number 3, keep your learner in mind. Since learner engagement is directed and sustained by their motivation, finding ways to maximize their motivation is critical. One way to maximize learner motivation is to eliminate or decrease any barriers to participation. To facilitate this, I selected Talent LMS as a learning platform because in addition to online access from any browser, learners can download an application to their mobile device, which enables them to download course content for offline viewing. To enhance learner motivation for individuals who enjoy completing items, gamification elements are turned on for the course in the LMS so the learner will earn points and badges for their engagement and completion of activities within the course. Since the intended audience of this course is adults that live in cities and suburbs in the United States, adult learning theory was applied to the course design to sustain their motivation. To meet the needs of adult learners, autonomy and social interaction were maximized. The learner has full control over the pace of the course through free navigation. The learner also has multiple means of consuming the same content so they can select their learning preference. For example, they could choose to watch a video, they could read the transcript for the video, and sometimes an infographic is also provided as an alternative method of consuming the same content. In addition to determining how, when, and where they consume the course materials, the learner also has autonomy when it comes to the learning activities and discussions because they're provided with multiple means to demonstrate their knowledge and abilities. For discussions, learning activities, and assignments, the learner can provide a text-based response, they could upload a file, or they could record a video or audio recording, allowing the learner to demonstrate their understanding by the best method for them. Likewise, since adult learners come with vast life experience and knowledge, this course enables them to share their experience through the discussions, promoting social learning, and this opportunity for social interaction can provide another means for value in participation. Given that available time may be a barrier for adult learners, as much as possible, I broke down content and activities into smaller, more digestible sections with a target of less than 20 minutes for most items, with the majority of items being able to be completed in less than 15 minutes. This design enables the learner to complete the content slowly at their own pace. Philosophy number 4, make it relevant and useful. Adult learners in particular must see the value in completing any training. The easiest way to help learners identify the value in the training is to make it relevant and useful. For example, the assignment in Module 1 provides them with an opportunity to debunk a coyote myth that they find in a recent article or social media post and practice how they might respond to the person who posted it. This skill of utilizing knowledge to debunk coyote myths and engage in conversation with their community about misconceptions or misunderstanding will be critical to changing attitudes towards coyotes and the response to human-coyote conflicts. Likewise, in Module 2, they'll focus on developing a personal coyote training plan, where they'll determine the level of coyote conflict in the area, identify coyote attractants near their home, how to remove them, and make a plan for how to manage ongoing attractants. They'll also select their method and strategy for how to respond when they encounter a coyote and practice their response. The discussions in Module 2 focus on practicing how to approach or have conversations with people who may have a different opinion than you on how to handle human-coyote conflict. Then, they'll develop a community education designed specifically to reduce human-coyote conflict in their neighborhood based on their analysis of the situation through their coyote training plan and the module discussions. Finally, there's a Kahoot game that was designed with the intention that they could have a family or friend game night, providing a fun way to engage with the material and share their knowledge with others. Philosophy number 5, make it accessible. Given that learners can be anyone in the United States and that we all experience disability at some time in our lives, whether it be temporary or long-term, it's vital that the course meets accessibility standards so that all learners may participate. To facilitate this, I chose an LMS that supports accessible design. I only used accessible blocks and Rise 360 presentations. All videos have closed captions and transcripts. All non-decorative images have alternative text. Color alone was not used to convey meaning. The recommended color contrast ratio was utilized to develop learning materials to maximize visibility. The learner can zoom in to increase the size of text or images. Likewise, the main document that the learner will work on and out of in Module 2 is an accessible Word document. The virtual reality exhibit provides an example of how to meet the needs of multiple learners. For example, a learner can choose to go through the guided tour, which will play through the audio automatically, or they can choose to go through the exhibit at their own pace, and when they click on each artifact, it will have an audio-based description, or they can read the transcript for it. Likewise, if the learner would rather not go through the virtual reality experience, they can have an option where they can read the text that they would hear via audio, or it would be the transcript that they see in the virtual reality experience. And they'll also be able to view all of the images that are available in the exhibit. Philosophy number 6, create face validity. A course not having face validity is one of the fastest ways to lose a learner in an online course. Some of the ways to create face validity include attention to detail, such as spelling, grammar, and user testing to make sure all links work and that all learning activities function as expected. Likewise, including reputable sources, particularly in this case, biologists, ecologists, and conservationists, people who work with and study the behavior of coyotes and their interactions with humans. And then providing those sources so each individual can verify the sources and information for themselves. Philosophy number 7. Always support transfer. Last but not least, supporting learning transfer is important to facilitate behavior change. Transfer to long-term memory or new environments and situations does not occur automatically. You must provide opportunities for practice, feedback, and reflection. The Coyote Field Journal and the Coyote Training Plan document provides an opportunity for them to practice and apply what they've learned in this course. Likewise, they can continue to engage in discussion with their peers by posting to the Coyote Field Journal to share their experiences and to seek advice from their peers. Finally, the learner is encouraged to continue their learning journey by updating their Coyote training plan as needed and to share what they've learned with others. Thank you for watching. Please contact me if you have any questions or if you'd like to chat about instructional design or Coyotes. Take care.